Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to make one of my little gnome wizards. And to make one of these gnome wizards we're going to be using some DK light worsted weight cotton yarn. That's why you got this lovely shiny effect, because it's a nice cotton. We're going to be using 4 colours. We're going to be using white for the beard. Like I said, this is DK light worsted weight yarn. And we're going to be using a little pink for his face, but of course you can use different shades of skin colour as well if you want to. And we need a colour for the hat and the body, and I think I'm going to use either a purple for the hat or the body, or a blue. So just another couple of colours as well. So you need white for the beard, a skin colour, and 2 extra colours as well. And we're going to be using a 2.5mm crochet hook or similar, and it's also useful to have a yarn needle and some scissors. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so to begin we need to take our skin colours. So I've taken my sort of pinky colour and our 2.5mm crochet hook, and we need to work 6 single crochet into a magic circle. Now if you don't like using the magic circle, you can chain 4, slip stitch into your first chain to form a loop, and then work the 6 single crochet into that loop you just created. Okay, so we're going to work the magic circle there, and I shall put a link in the description to my video on the magic circle, which goes a bit slower and shows how to do it in more detail and why I do my little dummy stitch. We're going to work 6 single crochet. 1 and 6, and then we just pull to tighten, and then we do a slip stitch to join the round. So slip stitch in our first single crochet. So check we've got 6, 2, 4, 5, 6, and just put our hook into that first single crochet, and because I did the dummy stitch it means we can see that stitch a lot easier. There we go, and just slip stitch to join. Okay, so moving on to the next round, we're going to chain 1 and bring up your yarn slightly before you work your chain, and that makes it easier to find at the end to slip stitch into. So we chain 1, then we need to work 1 single crochet in the same stitch that we just slip stitched to join, so the bottom of that chain. So going back into the same stitch that you slip stitched into, we're going to work a single crochet, and that makes an increase because technically we've got 2 stitches now at the beginning. We've got that single crochet and that chain 1. Then we're going to work 2 single crochet in each stitch around. So going into the next stitch we do 2 single crochet, so that's 1, and another one in the same stitch. I'm going to do 2 single crochet into each stitch around, so just 2 in every stitch until you've doubled up and you've got 12 stitches. Okay, coming up to the last stitch. Make sure you count as you go, because when you get to the end it looks like there's 1 stitch left there, but that's actually a fake stitch, as I call it, because we want to go straight into our chain 1 now to slip stitch. So hopefully you left it quite loose and you can still see it, and then just put your hook through, which mine's gone quite small, so it's catch a bit of it, catch the other side. Yay. And then just bring your yarn through and slip stitch. So by the end of that round you should have 12 stitches. Okay, so what we want to do now is we're going to do some just normal rounds. So we need to chain 1, and again try and keep it loose by bringing it up. Then we're going to go into the next stitch and do 1 single crochet, and we're just going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so you're keeping a stitch count of 12, so it's just a single crochet in every stitch. We're going to do that for 3 rounds. Okay, so that's for rounds 3, 4 and 5. We're just going to do chain 1, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And when you get to the end of the round, which let's see if I can speed round, we need to slip stitch into our chain 1 to join. So when you get to that last stitch, remember that which looks like a stitch is not a stitch, so do not put a single crochet into that dummy stitch, because we want to go straight into our chain 1, which hopefully you kept looser than I have. And I need to work a slip stitch. This is why it's a good idea to keep it as loose as possible, so you're not struggling like I now am. So I probably need to keep it even looser. There we go. And just slip stitch to join the round. We're going to do that twice more, so chain 1, 1 single crochet in each stitch round, making sure not to do one in that fake stitch, and then slip stitch in your chain 1 to join the round. So you can do that for 2 more rounds. Okay. Okay, so just when you finished doing your 3rd round of just chain 1, 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and just before we slip stitch on the very last 3rd round there, we're just going to put our hook into our chain 1, making sure not to do a stitch in that last fake stitch. We're going straight into our chain 1, which I've kept a lot looser this time. Instead of hooking over with the pink yarn, we're going to hook over with a colour. So I think I will do his body in purple. So again, this is a DK light worsted weight 100% cotton yarn. So instead of hooking over with the pink, we're going to hook over with our new colour. We're going to slip stitch with our new colour instead. Just bring that through both loops like so. You may pull your tail ends to tighten, and then we're just going to do another round of chain 1, keeping it loose, chain 1, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so going straight into the next stitch. Do a single crochet, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you've still got a stitch count of 12. But you're now doing it in your new colour. Okay. And the last one, 12. Our little fake stitch that can trick you at the end of the round is actually really small now because we introduced our new colour. So we can go straight into that chain 1 that we did and slip stitch join our round. What I'm actually going to do at this point is putting that down. So I'm going to cut the pink yarn because we've finished with it. That'll stop it getting all tangled. Put that to one side, and I'm just going to take that tail end I've just cut and the tail end of the purple and just tie them in a knot. And I'm going to stuff all the tail ends into the head for now, just to keep them out of the way. You can also double up as stuffing. So there we go. So now what we're doing is moving on to the next round, which is round 7. We're going to chain 1. Bring that up. and chain 1, and then we're going to work 2 single crochet in the next stitch. So going straight into the next stitch, which is going to be there. Going to work 2 single crochet in that next stitch. That's 1, and then another one in the same stitch. Like so. Then in the next stitch we're just going to do 1 single crochet by itself. Like that. And then we're going to go back to doing 2 single crochet. So that's 1 and another one in the same stitch. But in the next stitch we're just going to do 1 single crochet by itself. It's just 1. We're going to repeat this round, doing try and get that through. And then we're just going to repeat that round, doing 2 single crochet in the next stitch, then 1 single crochet, then 2 single crochet in the next stitch, then 1 single crochet, until you get back to the beginning, and you should end up on a 2 single crochet increase, and your stitch count by the end of that round should be 18. So in the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochet, 1 and 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 single crochet. Okay, it's just coming up to the last stitch, and you should end on a 2 single crochet. So that's 1 and another one in the same stitch. Like so. And then we just slip stitch into that chain 1 we did at the beginning to join the round. Like so. So by the end of that round you should have 18 stitches. Okay, so moving on to the next round, the next few rounds actually, we're going to do our chain 1, making sure to keep it loose. Just chain 1. We're just going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're keeping a stitch count of 18. So there's 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and then we're going to slip stitch in our chain 1 at the end of the round. And we're going to do this for 6 rounds. So that's 6 rounds of just chain 1, 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Slip stitch in your chain 1 to join. So you've still got a stitch count of 18. I'm going to do that for 6 rounds. Okay, so I'm going to do that and then I shall come back. I'd just like to say at this point as well, I'm just on the second round of doing that 1 single crochet in each stitch round, but at this point you would have a perfect thimble. Anyway, let's crack on and do those 6 rounds. Okay, it's just coming up to the last stitch. On the last rounds we've done 6 rounds of chain 1 and 1 single crochet in each stitch around, and we just slip stitch into our chain 1. I've learned how loose to keep it now so it goes in run nice and easy. So there we are, there's the main body part. So I'm just going to trim our purple, and then we just pull up our yarn, and then we're going to take our yarn needle and we're just going to hide this tail end. Thread that onto there, and all I do is I just put the needle through the next stitch to the back, tucks that in nicely. Then on the inside just sew through some stitches randomly. Do that once and a little bit more. like so. And you can trim the excess. Like that. So there we go, there's the main body part. That could be the back where the seam is. Main body part of our wizard. That part there. So all we've got to do now is work on the, I think we'll work on the ears next. So for the ears, we're going to take the same skin colour we've used for the face, for the head. In my case, I've used a pink, and using the same hook, we're just going to chain 4. Do our slip knot, and then chain 4. It's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you've got 4 chains. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in our second stitch from hook. And our second stitch, we don't count the loop on our hook. That's our first stitch there. So our second one, just going to put our hook through, and I'm just catching that top bit of yarn. Bring the yarn through that stitch and then through the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. Then we're going to do a double crochet in the next stitch. Again, just catching that top bit of yarn, bring that through and work a double crochet. Do that again. And with this type of cotton that I'm using, it's quite strandy. This cotton is actually Rico Design Essential DK cotton, which is really nice. It's really silky. It's also quite strandy to work with. So there we go, double crochet in our next stitch, and in the very last stitch we're just going to do a slip stitch again. So we bring our yarn through the stitch and the loop on our hook, like so. And then just leaving a little bit for sewing. Just going to pull that through, and there's one of our little tiny Gnome Wizard ears, like so. So we're going to repeat those steps again to make our other ear, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I've repeated those steps to make another little gnome ear. There we go. And all that's left to do is to sew them on to the body. And I've done one, half done one on this side, and then I'll just show you, making sure the seam is at the back. We then take our second ear and a yarn needle, thread one end on, and then looking at the top, making sure the seam's at the back, looking at the top. I'm going to come over and we want to line it up along this pink, between the pink and the purple. I'm going to put one end through, like that, and then we thread on the other end, come over slightly, again making sure it's on that line between the pink and the purple, and there we have, I don't know which tail end to pull now. So there we have our little ear sewn on there. But what we're going to do, we're actually going to turn him inside out as best we can. Best to do these, thread them both on at the same time, then turn him inside out once, so you don't have to turn him inside out twice like I have. I've had to do that to show you. But then finding your tail ends, which are now all mixed up, finding your two tail ends on the inside, we then are just going to double knot them. Just pull nice and tight. And do a double knot, like so. And turn him in back inside out again. Which is quite hard to do. he will go. Pop out his head. There you go. So now he looks a little bit like that character out of Star Wars. So what we need to do is pin back his ears a little bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to take one of these lengths of yarn here, longer lengths, threading that onto the yarn needle. I'm going to come back up into the middle, trying to avoid those tail ends as much as you can. The reason I'm not cutting them is because we're going to use them to stuff the head. So let's thread one of these longer ones on again because it's come off. There we go. And what we're going to do is I'm going to come back up on the inside and come up just behind the ear, higher up. So about there. Let's bring your yarn up. Because what we're going to do is we're then just going to go through the ear itself. The top, near the top. Making sure you're happy with the shape. And I'm going to go back down near the top. I'm going to come over to the other side, just above the ear, higher up. Be careful not to pull too tightly because you don't want to distort the head shape. And then we're going to come through that ear near the top as well. Like so, when that's pinned back. Put our hook back through near the top and then out through the bottom. Use your finger to shape, and that way it pins his little pointy ears back to his head. Okay, so what we're going to work on now is we're going to work on his little nose. Okay, for the nose we're going to be using our pink yarn again, or whatever sort of skin colour yarn you've chosen to use, and we're going to work 5 single crochet into a magic circle. And again, you could always chain 4, slip stitch into your first chain to form a loop, and then work 5 single crochet into that loop, but we're going to do it in a magic circle. So we're using the same hook again, do a little dummy stitch. And then 5 single crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. To pull our tail end, let's bring in our magic circle. And then we're going to slip stitch in our first single crochet. So check, we've got 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finding that first single crochet. Which is really tight. There you go. I'm going to work a slip stitch. Bring that through the stitch and then through a corner of yarn. So it's very small. So there we go. You should have 5 single crochet, and then we're just going to work 1 single crochet straight in the next stitch. So go straight onto the next stitch and work a single crochet. We're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around as well. So we've still got a stitch count of 5. we go. 5 single crochet. So there we go. And all that's left to do is to cut our yarn and leave a little bit for sewing. Finish with our pink now. To bring that yarn through. And that's our tiny weeny little nose, which we then sew on to the front. We're actually going to sew it on after we've sewn the hat on, so we're going to work on the hat now. So just put your little nose to the side, and now we're going to work on the hat. And for the hat, we're going to be doing it in blue. So I've got some blue scrap yarn here. Again, this is a 100% cotton yarn, DK light worsted weight yarn. And for the hat, we're going to chain 14. So we're going to start at the base and work up. So it's chain 14. That's 1, 2, and 14. So we've got 14 chains. And we're actually going to slip stitch in our first chain. So I'm going to bring that round into a loop. And finding your first chain, you can always count back 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14. So there's our first chain. I'm going to put our hook into our first chain. Just going to catch that top bit of yarn. And we're going to move our tail end, which is always in the way. We're going to bring our yarn through. We're going to slip stitch into that first chain. So we've still got a stitch count of 14, but we've created a big loop like so. Then what we're going to do is we're going to work 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we're going to go straight into the next chain or stitch and work 1 single crochet. And we're going to do 1 single crochet in each stitch around. And we're going to do that for 2 rounds. So you want to keep a stitch count of 14. So just count to 14 as you go. I'm going to do that for 2 rounds. We're not going to chain 1 or join the end of the round or anything. We're just going to work continuously like a snail. Okay. So I've just done the first round, 14 stitches in each chain. I thought I'd actually show you the second round, because we're going to go into that an actual stitch now rather than a chain. Just carry straight on, doing 1 single crochet in each stitch around, so you've still got the stitch count of 14. Okay, and the last one, 14. So you've done 2 rounds of just 1 single crochet, first of all in each chain around, and then 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So you've still got a stitch count of 14, and it should look a little something like that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So in the next stitch we go in, grab our yarn, and in the next stitch we go in and grab our yarn. So that's over 2 stitches. We yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that's single crochets 2 stitches together. And we're basically going to repeat that until the last 2 stitches. So to repeat that, we do 1 single crochet in the next stitch just by itself, then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So we go into the next stitch, grab our yarn, to the next stitch, grab a yarn, yarn over, pull through all 3, and just repeat that until the last 2 stitches, just doing 1 single crochet in the next stitch and then single crochet 2 stitches together. And that brings us to our last 2 stitches, 13 and 14. And in 13 and 14 we're just going to do 1 single crochet. So we do 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and that completes our round and brings our stitch count down to 10. So you should have 10 stitches now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 and 10. So the next round we're just going to work We're actually going to work one single crochet in each stitch around, and we're going to do that for 3 rounds, so rounds 5, 6 and 7. I'm going to just do one single crochet in each stitch around, so you're keeping a stitch count of 10. Okay, so that's for 3 rounds. And the last stitch, 10. So I've just done 3 rounds, just continuously without joining the round. Just 3 rounds of one single crochet in each stitch around. So you've still got a stitch count of 10. It should look something like that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do one single crochet in the next stitch. And then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So go into the next stitch, grab our yarn, next stitch, grab our yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And we're going to repeat that round to the last stitch. So the next stitch, we're going to just do a single crochet. And as you can see, I'm just moving it over and then flattening it, which makes it easier to work into. Then we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So we go into the next stitch and the next stitch. Oops. Like so. I'm going to flatten it again. And one single crochet in the next stitch. That's number 7. And 8 and 9 we're going to single crochet together. So we go into the next stitch, grab our yarn, next stitch, grab our yarn over, pull through all 3. That leaves us one stitch that we're just going to do one single crochet in. Just one single crochet in that last stitch. That should bring your stitch count down to 7. So let's just pop him open, count our stitches. 2, 4, 6. Number 7's hidden under there. So you should have 7 stitches left. And then we're just going to do 3 more rounds of just one single crochet in each stitch around. So that's 3 rounds of one single crochet in each stitch around, and that's just working continuously, keeping a stitch count of 7. This is when it starts to get a bit fiddly. Okay, so I've just done 3 rounds of one single crochet in each stitch around, so you've still got a stitch count of 7. And then what we're going to do is we are going to just going to go into the next stitch and do a single crochet. And we're going to single crochet 2 stitches together. So it's into the next stitch, grab a yarn, and into the next stitch, grab a yarn, it's very fiddly. We're going to repeat that once more, so single crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet 2 together. Go to the next stitch, grab a yarn, and it's there. Very fiddly. Next stitch. Grab a yarn, yarn over, pull through all 3. That should leave you one stitch, and if you can, just work a single crochet in that last stitch. And this brings our stitch count down to 5. But what we're going to do, because it's just way too difficult to work now, we're going to just leave a little bit for sewing. I'm going to pull our yarn up, get our yarn needle. We're going to concertina the remaining gap closed. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the next stitch, then out for the next stitch. My yarn's always falling off my hook, my needle. And then just pull through. Then we're going to go into the next stitch, then out for the next stitch. Just sort of drawstringing closed the top of our hat, like so. And then you can just do one more if you want to. Just roughly, like so. And that finishes our hat. What we're going to do is we're going to hide this tail end. We're just going to sew it onto the inside. There we go. Try and get it out for the bottom without catching anything. There we go. Don't pull too tight because you don't want to distort the top of your hat. You can just trim that yarn. And at the beginning of our hat, we'll just neaten that off as well. Thread it onto our yarn needle. I'm just going to go to the back and just sew it on the inside a little bit. And I'm just going to trim the excess out of the way. So there's our little hat. So then what we're going to do is we're going to sew our little hat on the top of his head. So we're going to take some similar coloured yarn to the hat, taking a short length, thread it onto our yarn needle. And making sure the seams at the back, we're just going to place it on the head as best we can, tucking it under his ears. You may have to hold it in position at first. And what we're going to do is just going to go into the head and then across. So you're actually going into the head as well as the hat. Get this needle through. Leave a little tail end. We can sew in afterwards. And then just go across by one stitch. Into the head. We're actually going to come out at the bottom. I think everything that can go wrong is going wrong in this video. Oh, get the right side. There we go. So where is he? Here he is. And then we just come back up from the inside and over to another stitch. Then we're going to go over by a stitch and we're going to really tuck it down underneath his ear. Yep, and then come back up. Ear. Pull nice and tight, and then I'll come through the hat. So we're just going to continue this sewing like this all the way around until you've sewn his hat on nice and firmly. Okay, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so when you finish sewing on the hat, we're just going to sew this beginning tail end just to the inside as well. It's getting quite stiff now, but that'll keep all the pieces in place. Then you can just stuff all the tail ends on the inside. Use a stuffing for the head. So there we go. So there he's coming along. So what we're going to do now is just going to sew his nose on next. So let's bring back his nose. And the beginning tail end on the inside, I'm going to trim that right down. And then taking the end, sew it onto our needle. I'm just going to neaten off this stitch by going into the next stitch to the back, just to get that into position, and then making sure the nose is popped out slightly, and making sure the seams at the back. I'm just going to put his nose on, literally on that pink part, so in between the hat and the body, and we're just going to sew that on. And go in into the face and up for the next stitch. And I'm going to go across to the next stitch. And I'm going to go out for the bottom. And then come back up from the bottom in the next stitch. And across to the next stitch. And out for the body and out for the bottom. And come back up to the next stitch. And again, just sew over to the next bit and down, out for the bottom. There we go. And then all that's left to do now is to work on the beard. Okay, so for the beard, it looks like a little piggy with a hat on at the moment. So he needs his beard. We're going to take our white DK, a light worsted weight cotton, and the same hook we've been using. And we're just going to chain, what we're going to do, we're going to chain 13. So let's chain 13. 1, 13, 13 chains. Sorry about my injury on my thumb. Then we're going to work 1 double crochet in the second stitch. So we do yarn over, and our second stitch, we don't count the loop on our hook. There's our first stitch, and there's our second. So going into that second stitch, just catching the top bit of yarn, I'm going to work a double crochet. Okay, and then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 4 stitches. Next 4. So that's 1. 2. 3. 4 fingers and thumbs today. And 4. Okay. And then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 3. So we yarn over and we do a half double crochet in the next 3. Let's yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So it's 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. So it's just 1 single crochet in the next stitch. And then in the last 3 we're just going to do some slip stitches. So slip stitch in the last 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, then we're going to turn our work. We're not going to chain one or anything, we're just going to literally turn our work. And we're going to skip a slip stitch. I'm going to skip that first slip stitch, and then in the next stitch, which is a slip stitch, we're going to do another slip stitch. We're going to do a slip stitch in the next 3. And because they're slip stitches, they're sort of round the side. The stitches, you have to hunt for them a bit. There we go. Just bring it on through and work a slip stitch, and we're going to do a slip stitch in the next 2 as well. So 1 and then 2. It's easy to see because it's a single crochet. Okay, so you've skipped 1 slip stitch and done a slip stitch in the next 3. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the last 4. That's 1 half double crochet, going through all 3 in the last 4. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is hidden at the top here. 4. Okay, then we're going to chain 1 this time and turn. Don't count that chain 1 as a stitch. We're going to go straight into that first stitch. We're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 4. So you do a half double crochet in that first stitch, and then the next 3 as well. 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 3. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then we're going to do a slip stitch in the next 2. So slip stitch in the next stitch, and a slip stitch in the next stitch. And then we're going to skip the rest of those stitches at the bottom, which you'll probably be pleased to know because they're really hard to find. And we're just going to turn our work. We're not going to chain one or anything like that. We're just going to turn our work, and we're going to work, we're going to skip the first slip stitch, that one there. In the next 2 stitches we're going to do some slip stitches, so skip that slip stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to do a slip stitch, and then in the next stitch we're going to do a slip stitch as well, and then we're going to do 1 single crochet in the next 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last one, 6. Okay, and that's the majority of our beard made. But what we're going to do now is something a bit different. We're going to chain 3. So chain 1, 2, 3, like so. And we're going to work a double crochet. We're going to work some stitches across the top. So I'm not going to turn and go back. We're going to work straight across the top. But because we don't have proper stitches to work into, we just need to do it as neatly as we can. So we chain 3, and then we're going to work somewhere along here, nice and neatly. We're going to work a double crochet fairly close to the chains if you can. It's just a double crochet like so. Don't worry about the gap. Then we're going to do 3 slip stitches. So we're just going to work 3 slip stitches neatly along the top. So that's 1 and 1 in the middle. 2 and then 3, like so. And then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to finish up with a double crochet just on the very corner, just somewhere neatly. See if we can find somewhere to put it into. Here we go. Just as neatly as you can, like so. Then what we're going to do is we're going to leave a bit of a tail for sewing. Just pull our yarn up through. And all we've got to do now is I'm going to turn him over so that the tail end's this side. Bring in our little gnome wizard, and then all we need to do is sew on the beard, and the corners that we did at the top are going to go either side of his nose. So I'm going to take this tail end and thread it onto our yarn needle, and then positioning him in a good position, we're just going to come up by the side of the nose, yeah, and then out, down through the bottom. Which is getting very stiff now. There we go. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back up on the inside and come out just underneath his nose. Let's pull that tight so that's in position. Go back up the middle, and we're going to come out up here somewhere again. Nice and tight. And then we're just going to go over a little bit and then back through the body and out the bottom again. Like so. We're just going to continue that way, sewing on this beard. We're going to come back up through the middle, and we're going to come out underneath his nose. Everything that can go wrong is definitely going wrong today. I'm all fingers and thumbs. There we go. Why? I think it's because my camera battery is... This camera is slowly dying on me, so it's making me nervous. Try to do it as quickly as I can. So then we come up to the next bit with the beard. Making sure to keep the beard in place. And we're going to sew back down. I'm just going to continue this just across the top of the beard. So just continue sewing along the top, making sure to get that nice and high up there by his nose, like that. So I'm just going to finish sewing just up to the top there, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've just finished sewing across the top there, making sure to get the corners right up by each side of his nose. And all that's left to do, you can just hide the tail end on the inside to help stuff him a bit. And then all that's left to do is to hide this tail end. And we just sewed from the back and up, and then that creates a little knot at the end to keep the point. And I'm just going to sew back to the back. My yarn doesn't want to stay on the needle today, and I'm just going to sew through some stitches. A few more. Trim the excess and trim this down as well because it's sticking out. And there we go, there's our finished Gnome Wizard. You can just curl up the end of his beard and sit him with all the other ones. So there's no eyes or mouth or anything like that, so it's as if his hat's come over his eyes. But I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I hope you managed to follow along. I don't feel like it's been one of my best ones, even though it's one of my favourite little characters. It's just, I don't know, I'm all fingers and thumbs today, so I do apologise. I do need to get a better camera. I think I might put a link on my website or somewhere to so people can donate to help me buy a new camera for my channel, because my camera's getting really old and the battery never wants to work. But I might put a link in the description to that if you feel like you want to donate some money and help my channel. I'd be really appreciative. But a little sneak preview of a little pattern coming to my YouTube channel soon, hopefully, if my camera doesn't die, is one of these little Easter eggs with a little button on the front. And the idea is that we open up a little egg, perfect for Easter. And inside is a tiny little chick, just hiding on the inside. So hopefully I should be able to do a video soon for the little egg, buttoned eggs. And also a little extra bonus at the end of this video, let's move our little Gnome Wizards over there, is this, which is a little ice cream cone and Pom Pom Ice-creams. And this, I can't take credit for this idea, I did see a blog on how to make these, so I thought I would give them a go as well. I'll put a link to that actual blog piece as well. But the idea is we use the inside of an egg carton. So let's move these out of the way. So these knobbly bits on the inside of a normal egg carton, if you've got them, is to cut out one of those, which makes the bottom, and then I got just a crayon in a kind of sort of an orangey peach colour, and just coloured. You can always choose to paint it if you want, and then just create a pom-pom, and then you just glue it on with some PVA glue or your equivalent, and there we have a pom-pom ice cream, and really fun to make, so with different coloured yarns, and made sort of like a raspberry ripple one here, so hopefully my daughter will like that. But there we go. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I shall see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching. Bye!